everybody out there in comic book land. My name is George Serrano, aka The Don, and if you're listening to this, you are only here for one reason, and that's for a brand new episode of the Major Issues podcast, brought to you by ComicBook Clique. As you know, we try to do our best here at Major Issues to tackle all the latest and greatest things to come to comic books and comic book media. And if you're here for this specific episode, that means you're ready to take on the last step in our journey. You've survived the hordes of nightmare creatures and the everlasting darkness. You've gone through the Forge of Worlds and are ready to let out your battle cry. It's time for the end of Dark Knight's Metal, the DC crossover event that is set to change the multiverse as we know it. And when we last left off last week, the Earth had been plunged into darkness. Barbatos' plan to darken the Forge seems to be working. The Dark Knights have subdued the majority of Earth's superheroes, and Wonder Woman and Kendra Saunders are left to battle Barbatos' army alone, using Hawkman's mace. Superman and Batman have seemingly lost to a 50-foot tall Hawkman, and the Batman who laughs have someone captured. But who? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I proudly bring to you part 2 of our Dark Knight's Metal finale, the final installment of our recap and review with none other than fellow comic book clicker, my comic book cohort, Jonathan Escudero, aka Yogi. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy. So everyone is called into this battle now, and they've all joined it. They're attacking the Dark Knights of the multiverse. Deathstroke has Prometheum.
Deathstroke does have Prometheum.
So he has Prometheum, which is, a valued metal. But
did they say which number metal that was?
Is this a smoking Alfred? Someone shot Alfred in the head.
We've got a huge battle, going on, and in one of the scenes we see some of the destroyed Alfred AIs from.
Oh yes, from the Murder Machine.
Yeah.
Yes. So Murder Machine is walking around, being taken out by Mr. Terrific, but while these guys are handling the Dark Knights, they're still overpowered.
They're way overpowered.
So Mr. Terrific starts begging Plastic Man to help. He knows he's in the egg.
Egg boy.
Yeah, he knows he's in the egg. He knows that he's paranoid completely. Like, we're talking about somebody who is paralyzed with fear at this moment, right? Is able to... You hear him start saying, okay... He's like, do something. Turn into a dinosaur, or a bulldozer, or a damn shark. Do something. Do anything. And... Plastic Man goes, how about all of them?
Yeah.
And so he turns into a shark, and he turns into a dinosaur, and there's a chainsaw in there, and there's like a vacuum?
There's like a bulldozer, the front of it. He's got a chainsaw, he's got a T-Rex, he's got 4 types of sharks.
Tentacles coming out of his back. And so Plastic Man is here, the arrival of Plastic Man. How did you feel about that?
I've been waiting for Plastic Man for a while, actually. Like, they since... beginning of the New 52, for them to really put him back into the spotlight.
Yeah, and it seems like they were avoiding it for a while, because you even have the elongated man on Flash, right? Like, they could have just went straight plastic.
Nah, well, I mean, I don't want to say that, because like Barry has a long relationship with
elongated man.
With the elongated man. Like, him and Iris are known to go on. They were known to go on double dates until
Barry, you need to look over that man's shoulder.
Until what happened to Sue happened.
We don't talk about
we don't talk about
we don't talk about Sue Dibney. But Plastic Man is he basically is strangling everybody. He's one of the most versatile heroes, and with his inclusion and also the inclusion of Martian Manhunter, these teams are gonna be stacked once we're done with this metal stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, he's gonna join the Terrifics.
These are 2 of the most powerful people in the DC universe, honestly speaking. You're talking about Plastic Man, who can bring pause to even Superman.
That's perfect perspective, right? Superman says that Martian Manhunter is the most powerful person in the universe, and the only person that was able to stop Martian Manhunter was Plastic Man. So it goes to show that now they're both back. It's gonna be some fun. We're definitely gonna get some fun. Plastic Man is able to distract everybody enough and clear a path for Kendra and Wonder Woman to get to the World Forge, because she feels that if she can get down there, she can find some of this metal. And in a pretty cool shot, she is brought down there and down into the World Forge. She is helped down there by her lasso. Kendra's like, don't worry, I'll never let go. When she gets down there, she sees Kaiju Hawkman. Kaiju Hawkman's there and threatening to kill just smack. Could you imagine what the effect of this hammer would be on Wonder Woman? She's like an ant at this point, but he's ready to destroy Diana.
She's pretty durable, I'd say.
Before he gets called by his government name.
He's got in trouble by
like his
wife.
mom. You know what I'm saying? Carter. What?
Carter Hall, take
Carter
off that
Hall.
stupid helmet and get upstairs right now.
You know, and she goes, my God, Carter, it's me, Kendra. Yes. He goes, Kendra, yes, you're Carter. And Barbatos flips out. Barbatos like, don't talk to my dragon. It's my dragon, bro.
I want to know how Carter even recognized Kendra, but
from afar as a silver reincarnation. I have no idea. I'm gonna go with music, so I'm gonna go with the voice. I'm gonna go with the voice is what.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
The voice brings him home. We didn't speak about this. How do you feel about the fact that Barbatos has no speech bubbles?
Well, I want to imagine that he doesn't even have a mouth, like a real
Oh,
mouth.
yeah.
Because like when they showed him screen, he opened his neck.
Yeah.
So it's probably telepathic or something. It's like everyone hears.
Oh,
it,
I get it. Yes.
But he's not speaking it.
He reminds me of. Is it the Disturbed logo? That's kind of like that.
With the font.
No, the hoodie, like the hoodie and the eyes glowing through it. Is it Disturbed?
I don't know off the top of my head. I would have to take a quick
it's one
Google.
of those rock bands. If you guys know, let us know.
Well, I mean, the story is called Metal, and it's supposed to be. I mean, it's supposed to be like a big metal story.
This is like the trust tree, right? Like this is where we can talk about this comic stuff and say things that we probably that we thought and we didn't want to keep to ourselves. I have an embarrassing thing to say. I was rereading these stories, and for the very first time, I realized what the cover of issue 1 was supposed to be.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, it took me. And the only reason why it took me so long is because I kept looking at it, going, "This is arranged in a way. They're trying to show me something. Oh, I can't. I see it until I pulled the page away, and I see that all the members of the Justice League are representing the rock-on symbol, the devil horns, with their hands.
Throughout the entirety of Metal, in every single issue, if you look closely, you're gonna see little metal horns on lots of people's hands.
Yeah, like Baby Darkseid.
Baby Darkseid. Actually, Barbatos in the 6th issue has the metal horn. Like I've noticed it so much. I didn't keep count. I wish I would have.
Yeah.
But it's all over. This fun little Easter egg from Greg Capullo.
But these guys definitely had fun. This team definitely had fun with this book, with these stories.
Yeah, we just got confirmation on that Disturbed logo looking like Barbatos.
Barbatos.
Barbatos. I'm not sure how. I'm gonna ask Grant Morrison, but then he's got the accent. So.
Speaking of Grant Morrison, right after you have Barbatos basically explain to everyone that I don't care. I don't care that you're trying to get Hawkman back. I don't care that you're trying to go to the World Forge. I won. It's me. I conquered it all. Me and my Dark Knights. And then straight from Grant Morrison, we get the Batmans of the Multiverse, accompanied by Detective Chimp and Stubbs.
Yes, Stubbs. Nixu Otan's little monkey partner. So, like, again, they got the ship and the monkey from Nixu Otan. Where is this guy? And
there's Cyborg on the ship with Raven and the Flash.
As it turns out, right before this, we were shown Detective Chimp. He was being affected by the DC's universe being sunken into the dark multiverse. So as it turns out, it wasn't that was affecting him. He was just trying to be contacted by the 53rd Earth in DC's multiverse. After all these years
52
of 52 is so important. There's a 53rd Earth, and it's full of monkey people.
Monkey people.
So actually, if you think back hard enough, you would remember the 53rd Earth from like DC 1 million. But let's not get into that.
The Ape Earth.
Right? You can call it that. Basically, we're shown this because this is where they get multiversal help from. And then in comes Cyborg, Raven, and Flash, and Detective Chimp and Stubbs with the cavalry. The cavalry is 4 more Batmen. Because you can never have enough Batmen.
Well, who'd you pop for the most?
I pop for Dark Knight Returns Batman because I'm like the biggest Dark Knight Returns mark in history. I've owned the first prints. I loved Batman v Superman, and I popped so hard for Dark Knight Returns Batman. But then we've also got Red Sun Batman, who must have been plucked.
Gotham by Gaslight.
Dead. But we've got Vampire Batman, Gotham by Gaslight. Is that who that was back there?
That's who I assumed that's who that was.
He's got the collar going on.
Yeah, he has a chain collar. And
So
I
yeah,
was
he
just
got me. He got me the hardest. I was loving it.
I don't know if you saw Scott Snyder's Twitter, but
Ah,
him and Greg Capullo were greeted by the Dark Knights of the multiverse.
I love all of them except for Red Death. I'm sorry, Red Death.
Oh, you
You
feel like he didn't
tried.
try?
You
Yeah, oh
tried,
yeah,
bro. I
yeah.
give you A for effort because nobody else has that going on.
Yes.
But that helmet.
Yeah, it wasn't all that good. So go to Scott Snyder's Twitter to see that. So it is catching on, man. This story, and Batman is here. The Batman, our Batman's.
Batman. First we've got 3 new Batmen. We still haven't seen whether or not Wonder Woman was able to successfully bring Superman and Batman out from this world forge's lava.
And the dragon, Hawkman, is still kind of like Kendra.
Yeah, he's fighting with himself now. So he's obviously compromised, and he's no longer just this mindless zombie. He's fighting himself thanks to Kendra because, as we all know, their love is
eternal.
Unbreakable.
Is immortal.
So, as this is happening, now the World Forge starts to bubble. It is lighting up again. It is completely lit up. And
Well, Kendra basically yells. She yells at Hawkman, like, come on, you know who you are. You know who I am. We're the leaders of the tribe of the bird. You have to take back our story. It's not his. And right when she goes to tell him, to speak more truth, she's burned by a Joker dragon. And she says, she gets to let out, you're Hawkman. You're Hawkman. And all of a sudden, the forge brightens. Right when Barbatos seems to think that he has everything.
Everyone's confused. It's actually pretty funny watching these stoic Batmen all of a sudden look to their Lord Barbatos for answers.
It was also weird to have Barbatos, even in that moment there with Kendra, like he's kind of bratish. Right?
He is. Well,
when he does get his way. And they kind of say that later on in this issue. They're like, oh, Barbatos just stood there to the side, kind of being a brat,
After an eternity of just having things go his way, I didn't think he even knew that things could not go his way.
He is tackling, and he's still on top of the tuning fork. He's taking on everybody.
He's just whipping out these 3 Batmen.
Huge.
4 Batmen.
And
he's got the tuning fork coming out of the middle of his pants in a suggestive position there. We can just keep on going.
And then he does the thing. He does the thing you're not supposed to do. He axes a question into the void. And that question is, who is truly foolish enough to believe they can win down here in the darkness?
I can answer that.
We are. And the Trinity rises, covered in 10th metal.
Covered in armor made of the element X, the metal of possibility, 10th metal, shining, glimmering. It's beautiful, actually.
This all occurs after or before that whole 1,000-year battle that she goes on with the Gentleman. With those two and the Gentleman.
I want to say that Tom King's Batman takes place after Metal.
Okay. Well, I think that guy could use some 10th metal.
Or that they dealt with the Gentleman and then went to sleep, and the next day Metal
everything erupted.
The day after that,
Doomsday Clock.
They just stopped.
The year after that is Doomsday Clock. So man, it's a great hero shot.
Oh yeah, Greg Capullo kills it as always.
I love that Superman is holding on to the lasso.
They both
because I feel like, well, Wonder Woman has to.
No, Batman
can't fly.
Q can't fly.
So he has to. Wonder Woman can fly?
Yes, she can. Well, she can now. She wasn't always.
Yeah, she wasn't always able to fly. That's why she needed the jet.
As even the Joker who laughs, even the Batman who laughs mentioned to her, like, I've been all across the multiverse.
Oh yeah, he's like
some of those Earths where
you have the invisible jet.
One of them you have an invisible jet. So
yeah. I thought it was cool to play into that. But they're here and they have some of this metal to distribute. To give to some of the members of their team, so Batman,
in classic Bruce fashion.
First, Batman has to get to them, and get to Barbatos, who's on the tippy top of this tuning fork.
It's my favorite scene.
I knew it was, so that's why I had to get it.
Favorite
I had to
scene.
get to it before he distributed the metal to everybody else. But he sees almost like a video game. Barbatos is on the top of this thing like Donkey Kong, and he has to get all the way up there. And Superman is like, "Bro, you ain't gonna be able to make it, but if you climb on my back, we can fly there."
Never.
And Batman has said on multiple occasions he hates being flown around by Superman. As he's saying this, a hideous Joker dragon shows up and gets in Batman's face, and Batman says, Well, Batman punches the Joker in the face.
Punched it. He just punched a Joker dragon
in the
its
face.
Joker nose.
Broke it.
And mounted that thing.
And says, "I got it.
I got it.
I got it. Don't worry. You keep doing what you're doing down here. I'm gonna go handle business up there."
It is so like this is
Metal. It's so metal.
It is so metal. That's just no way to explain it. And in pure Bruce Wayne Batman form, he takes some of the Element X, turns it into batarangs.
Did he have to stab him?
He did not have to stab.
I was thinking this,
but he is he is Batman.
Yeah,
so
he's like
he turns these little batarangs. He turns his Element X into batarangs, stabs Aquaman and Green Lantern with it, and gives them Element X armor.
Now, this is the metal of possibility, so anything that they can imagine can be created. So they create armor. They create suits of armor and weapons.
Can I just say, before we move on, that before this page, I had never seen a sexy shot of the Drowned.
Oh, yeah, you see it, right? Her mouth was always kind of weird. You know who else's mouth is really weird? The Dawnbreaker.
The Dawnbreaker.
Did he have a stroke? Did they imply that he had a stroke or something?
I think it's implied. Well, it's implied the ring is corrupted because his willpower is too strong. So I want to.
He's being like withered, like the Emperor.
Yeah, because it's been 30 years of wearing that nasty ring.
Unlimited power. I do love the jailbroken ring story. That is amazing. Super Will.
Yes.
Great. But
even it's so great. Bruce is in such Batman form that even Dick is on the ground, just like, look at him.
He's so Batman,
glowing and riding a Joker dragon. Of course he'd be doing. Of course that's what would be happening right now.
And he's even like, and he's mushing him. He's doing the whole like when you're on a horse. He's yeah. And I'm like, all right, Bats.
So yeah, as this is going on, we're seeing that the heroes of the DC universe start to get their stuff back together, and
Dr. Fate comes out and is like, is Wonder Woman around? She's not? Okay, I'm gonna free everybody that was tied to the tied on top of the tuning fork.
Yes.
The Titans, the Suicide Squad, and various heroes that were on there. Fate comes out and helps them. The Gotham Resistance, they all have their own set of metal, and that's when you say Dick sees them and he's like, wow, of course he's doing that. Of course he's riding a freaking dragon.
And now Barbatos is losing it, so he screams out to his favorite knight, enact the final plan.
But before he could do that, his favorite dragon swings for the fences and hits him so hard with his Hawkman. That's not even a mace. That's what it's a sledgehammer?
No, it's like a sledgehammer.
He sledgehammers Barbatos, who doesn't look to be enjoying it. He's eating all the way. So in this moment of weakness, now that the heroes are all there, they're all covered in this precious metal, and Hawkman has broken the spell. Everything seems to be going wrong. Now, final night, enact the final plan. And we get to go right back to one of the weird bat caves, the murder bat caves that the Dark Knights created. And we find out that we have the Overmonitor in the possession of the Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah, so as it turns out, this was their self-destruct button. The
Yes.
Overmonitor. We can't win, so we're going to tie her behind to a bomb, and we're just going to.
So this was always Plan
everything.
B?
This was Plan B. Let's just destroy it all.
Yeah, screw making it in the dark.
Screw the light.
Blow it all up.
Let's just blow it all up.
So because they have the other brain.
But before
the metal brain?
Yeah, it would be, since this is the monitor, this is the and now it's basically the reverse situation of what was going on the regular multiverse, where they had the anti-monitor's astral brain and they were going to use it to destroy the dark. Well, now you've got the regular monitor's positive energy,
brain to plunge everything.
We're gonna just destroy everything.
Got you. And he's ready. Batman Who Laughs.
He's ready. This
has
is gonna happen.
Has been his favorite knight. He has been the most sadistic. He has been the most that seems to be enjoyed doing all this heinous stuff. And he, just like Barbatos, he thinks that he's gotten it all figured out until he hears a "Hey you" from the side, and Batman shows up.
No metal necessary.
I was gonna ask that. Thank you for getting to that. Why no metal?
I don't think it worked down there. Not for nothing.
Okay, that actually makes sense. It also seems like Bruce wants to take this personally. Like, yes. Bruce does take this extremely personally.
Yeah, to be sure that the dark energy in that cave cancels out Element X. So he wouldn't have been able to use it anyway. But
so Bats, clad in the regular black and gray, shows up to take on the Batman Who Laughs.
Finally.
The Crows try to attack, and he's able to gas them, and then these two go at it. And again, this is another instance in which I forgot that this is not the Joker. This is not an alternate version of the Joker. 'Cause Joker don't got no hands.
But it was still pretty satisfying to see Bruce
Definitely.
and the Batman Who Laughs come to blows finally.
Definitely. And you see the Batman Who Laughs take various shots that Bruce Wayne can't block against.
Yeah, and you also see well, that would be because they both got the same training.
Yes.
Right. They both Bruce Wayne. But so eventually Bruce does get the upper hand, but Batman Who Laughs, I just want to call him Laughs. I'm just gonna call him Laughs.
Yeah.
So Laughs shoots Bruce right in the gut.
Well, first, before shooting Bruce in the gut, memes Batman, right? Because he says, with you, how you're supposed to be without codes? Well, without rules, except one, Batman always wins, and that's the most meme thing in the history of Batman mythos is that, bro, one of us Batman is gonna win. I'm Batman, so I'm gonna win, and he shoots Batman with a gun used to kill his parents.
Yes, that's sick.
Sick, sadistic. These teeth he's fashioned into fangs. With that, he's able to just go on his own monologue. And again, it's another moment of him on stage, letting people know that there's nothing you can do. The lesson.
That's his hobby.
It's lesson time and all this other kind of stuff.
So yeah, Bruce is tired of it.
Yeah, he's like
just fire the damn gun.
He's like, you're the setup and I'm the punchline. Get it? And Bruce is like, just fire the damn gun, because he has his gun aimed on Batman. And Batman, or Laughs, says, I'm glad you finally see. And you hear a gunshot. Boom! And it wasn't Batman Who Laughs who shoots. You see a flag
big
stabbed.
Comedy bang flag right in Laughs back. And who shot? Who else? Who else could it have been?
It's the Joker. The Joker has showed up to help Batman
in classic
take on
purple attire too. It's been a while.
Look at those. Is that a suspender? Is that a watch? That thing dangling from his
He's got like a green.
He is in style. You see, he is. He hasn't eaten because he's been in the Batcave for like a year. But he's here and he's happy. Great panel, great reveal, great panel. I didn't expect it. I'm happy he's back.
God, these panels, when you talk about the panels, that final panel on this page of Joker with the cleavers and one Batman in each reflection.
Yeah.
But actually, Laughs assumes that this is gonna be a three-way fight here.
Yeah.
Oh, the Joker's here. Oh, we all gonna kill each other. And to where Bruce and Joker look at each other and they're like, "You ready?
Yes.
Get this shit. Let's get it on."
Yeah.
So they're teaming up against the Batman Who Laughs. The Batman and Joker.
And what I like that's maintained throughout all of this, is that right in the beginning, Joker's like, okay, so partners bats, and Batman could full-heartedly right there say, yes, I'm going for the leg, but he doesn't say yes. He refuses to acknowledge that this partnership is happening. That's the first time it happens. He goes, I'm going for the leg. I call his face. And they start going at it. As it's going at it, Bruce is like, we can never speak of this.
But let's just point out that the Joker has bat-shaped cleavers handy.
Yes. just
just bat-shaped cleavers around. I just carry these.
They look like straight razors?
No, they're like straight up meat cleavers, but they're bat-shaped.
Ah, gotcha, yes. Yeah, where do you keep those things? Yellow suspenders, this is a new Joker. He's acting brand new. But yeah, Batman's like, we don't speak of any of this. We don't talk about it. We never partnered while they're punching the guy. And basically Batman Who Laughs is like, what's happening? And they're like,
so where he was at one point where he just knew everything that was coming and everything that would happen. Right now he's dealing with the unpredictability of the Joker.
Yes, you were Batman. You were Batman, and you were tested on Batman. So you always were right because you are Batman. You knew what Batman was going to do. You knew what Bruce was going to do. You never in a million years thought of a situation in which Batman and the Joker team up together. And because of that, you are now being, taken care of. And so they mutilate him. They cut off his fingers. They spray him with acid. And Joker is left with him.
Yeah, so they beat the crap out of him. They chop his fingers off. The Joker and Batman Who Laughs are left in the cave.
What do you think? What do you think Joker does with Batman Who Laughs?
I'm gonna assume the Joker does what he always does when he's left in a cave that's collapsing, and left the Batman Who Laughs to his own devices. But being that he's both the Batman and he's like a hybrid, I'm sure he got out of that as well.
I also thought it was pretty cool that
Because I don't see them teaming up. Like,
Also,
that's not gonna happen.
I think it's cool that he showed up in this because I think he's, as we've seen, he's gonna be a big issue of DC Nation, and he will remember this. He will remember, and he will remember being locked down there for as long as he was. I don't think he's gonna be too happy.
That's one of the things a lot of people forget is that Joker does know who Bruce Wayne is.
Yep.
And he just doesn't care.
No.
So, as you just mentioned, the DC Nation Zero coming up. I want to see where they pick up with Joker and Batman's relationship because somehow he has found out that Batman is getting married.
Yes. He ain't gonna like that. He
No,
ain't
he's
gonna like
not.
that too much.
I
But
feel like he's jealous.
yes, exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. Because you saw what happened. You saw how jealous he got with the Bat family in Death of the
Yes.
Family. So you already know he's not playing second fiddle, especially to no Catwoman.
If this is even that Joker.
Yeah, that's true. That's also true. There's 3 of them.
There is 3 Jokers.
There's 3 of them.
Do not forget that. Now that brings up the question: which Joker is this?
In the next set of pages is very, very just
It's the end.
it's hopeful. Yeah, it's the end.
The climactic
People are
battle.
being killed. You see the drowned and stabbed. They're running over the murder machine. They're cutting. It looks like they're
They
cutting
were
through.
just straight up killing these guys, and these are people. Like
They're
came
all
from
Bruce?
They came from the
They're
dark
killing Bruce?
multiverse, but they're still people. So I was thinking, like, man, they'd had no problems just
No,
straight up
and they're
murdering these
not
guys.
only are they all people, they all Bruce.
Like they
So
all took out.
think
their-
about them enacting their worst, like their
Yeah.
angriest time, and then you took my lunch from the Watchtower, and and you're just beating the hell out of Bruce. But Barbatos again can't stop. He refused to believe this is the end, and I believe he's going to use the antenna.
Yeah, he was actually just gonna he broke a piece of the antenna off. What was he gonna do with it? I'm not.
I don't know. He said something about plunging people into the darkness again.
It just looks like he was gonna smash the antenna into the earth, and somehow that was gonna do something. But he doesn't. We don't get a chance to find out what he was gonna do
because he tried to do his catchphrase.
All roads leads back to darkness. Ah, finally.
We see Lady Blackhawk, who again was covered in metal, and I'm assuming she's covered in this 10th metal or 9th metal.
It could be, but they didn't. It doesn't shine the same, and that came out from inside of her body, so we don't know for sure.
Maybe
I wanna
nth
say
metal.
nth metal.
I'm gonna go with nth
I'm
metal.
gonna go with nth metal, but so.
Oh, and it's cool that they tie this all into the Vandal Savage and their reincarnation thing. They were stabbed with a dagger that had nth metal, and so
stole
that
their memories and
right.
made them think that they were just the prince and princess.
I thought that was pretty cool. DC does this thing, man, where if they're gonna and introduce something to their multiverse and then have the gall to say that it's been going on forever,
yes.
They do the homework to make sure they can say that it has been going on forever. Now there are holes, some here.
If you're gonna
there.
retcon something, do it the right way. That's all. Not like I'm not gonna talk about Marvel Legacy. Because they don't even want to talk about Marvel Legacy. So
now the next part is probably the most yada part. I felt like they yada kind of through this, which is like, oh well, we're still plunged in the dark multiverse, and it's if you can use all the hope and the power with the metal.
I wouldn't say that it was a yada thing because the entire point of this story was to get to this moment here. Forget Dark Barbatos,
you're right.
Forget
You're right.
the Dark Multiverse.
You're right.
Forget all that. This was the point of metal.
Yeah.
To what happens next?
Bring
is
back
that,
hope.
The Anti-Monitor Barbatos destroyed the Anti-Monitor's tuning fork, which is what they were using as an
pull it up and down.
to pull the Earth up and down in the multiverse. So it's broken now. They're stuck in the dark multiverse, but they have the element X, the metal of possibility, on. So the Overmonitor explains to them, "Hey, I got this other way. I got this other way. You could get back to Earth, but it involves you guys."
And it also has to do with the fact that never before has Earth had this much of the metal currently on its Earth.
Yes, there's never been this much of element X on Earth all at once. So they use this metal to connect the hopes of all the living people.
It reminds me of in The Grinch when they were holding hands.
So they take the hopes of all living people and use it to pull themselves back up to the regular multiverse, But
in doing so,
their hope is stretched. The power of their hope, combined with the power of Element X, stretched out so far into the multiverse that it actually reached the source wall. This is the edge. If you've ever seen a map of the multiverse, this is the edge. I've
seen this,
and
but I'm a novice. Who is stuck to it? Who's confined to it?
These are all like old gods. It's like weird. If I get into this now, we have to explain the whole thing.
Right.
So
But
it's one of those take it for what it is type things.
Got you. And
but
they busted the
it
source
is a
wall.
wall made of it. Like it's not one person stuck to it. Like the whole wall is made of these people, but it's broken. They broke the source wall of the multiverse. Now in Multiversity, we were already shown that DC's multiverse is accompanied by an infinite number of multiverses.
Yeah.
So that would mean that there's a space in between these multiverses, kind of like there's a space in between Earths and Ori.
Yeah.
And in that space exists beings that no one in any multiverse has ever
Seen,
come
yeah.
across or seen. And so now that the source wall is broken, our multiverse is susceptible to either attacks or anything.
Help or danger.
Anything could happen. So
They
this
use
is a whole new world of possibilities now.
I like the analogy that Aquaman uses. He says, so basically, our universe was a fish bowl, and we
Yes.
got poured into a bathtub.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what it is. If you can imagine all the different Earths, if you can imagine our universe or multiverse with the 52 now 53 Earths, that source wall was keeping everybody in line, I guess, keeping all these Earths in one multiverse. But look at how many stories we were able to get from just our Earth and the 52 others. We were able to get stories for the last 75 years without breaking the source wall. Now the source wall is broken. And not only are we going to get more stories, we're definitely going to get more dangers and definitely going to get more heroes because this introduces the DC New Age of Heroes.
Yes. Well, the New Age of Heroes, all those people came from the Dark Multiverse. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure exactly where and how they fit into DC's universe.
I've been finding them. They're legit sprinkled through here.
Are they?
Yes. At one point, they mentioned Damage. He in issue 1. They say people have been finding these metals and trying to do things with them, not realizing the damage that they cause, and it shows a figure silhouette standing attacking a bunch of guards. And so he was in there. They mentioned the Silencer, they by name, and I can't remember when. Then Sideways, I don't think we saw anything about him. But we get the Immortal Men in here at the end.
I did see that, but then that's where I saw the silhouette of all the new DC heroes.
Oh, when they said, I don't know, it might be a New Age of Heroes.
Yeah,
I was like,
really? No, it's really not going to be because nobody's going to buy that shit, but okay.
Are you excited for any of them?
No, I'm not.
No, straight up?
Like, none of them called to me. Like, it seems like a gimmick. It's a straight out of the 90s gimmick. Like, hey, like, this story, the purpose of this story was to bring a new possibility, like, a bunch of new stuff to the DC universe, but it looks like they piggybacked these guys on this story. Like, oh, well, we want to introduce this stuff too. Like, no.
Yeah, what do you think about, you think any of them last?
Nah, man, I honestly don't expect any of them to last. The Terrifics was the only book I was looking forward to, and everybody in that team already existed. So
yeah, we're also living in a world where they don't have time to write stories for Hawkman, Plastic Man, and Martian Manhunter.
Nah, Hawkman is gonna definitely.
Oh, now
he's gonna ongoing like that. There's a couple of people in this story that I'm like, you're getting ongoing. Hawkman.
Can we stop Cyborg's ongoing?
They already did. They
is it done?
They uncanceled it.
It's back?
Yeah.
Vic Stone?
Yeah, they did.
Well, Batman invites everybody over because he's like, listen, I know I shouldn't have done any of the stuff I did in issue 1 because that's kind of why all of this happened, and I probably shouldn't have fought through time and been so stubborn and did all those things, but Alfred cooks a mean steak.
Yeah, Alfred and what it was actually kind of jarring. Like, we go from Greg Capullo's art to Mike Janning's art, and I'm like, what's going on?
I think it did a good. I like the way that it now looks more. Everything looks more like classic almost.
It's the same artist as it's one of the artists from Tom King's Batman. But
everyone has labored and put on a suit.
Yeah, they apparently Alfred got them all fitted. They got fitted suits for everyone in the league. They all come together.
Martian Manhunter doesn't need a suit though, even though he's wearing one.
He could just materialize one, but I'm sure Alfred got him one too. Alfred's a nice person.
And then that rapscallion, Hal Jordan, can't put on his tuxedo coat. He wants to wear his flying coat.
He's got to put his flight coat on.
And then Wonder Woman said, "I didn't get the memo about all black." Because she is there, and she's there to be seen. And
Bruce brings everyone into the diner, and we're having this summarization.
Yeah, this is the epilogue of everything.
It's an epilogue. We are shown that Hawkman was shown visions of the present and the future and stuff in his past that he can identify. So that's gonna springboard into his new book. We're shown that one of the books is missing from Lucian's library.
Yes.
So that's gonna springboard into the new universe of Sandman books that they announced recently. And at the same time,
Hawkman's gonna fly again.
Hawkman will fly again.
So he'll probably have his own series. Is that the Middleman with
yeah, we're showing the Metalmen, so
with-
they're gonna get something.
with Tornado?
Red Metalmen and Red Tornado.
Challengers are back.
Challengers are back.
Challengers of the Unknown are back.
We've got the Immortal Men here talking about the new age of heroes, which is the 5 or 6 new heroes that were introduced as a part of DC Metal, and that will be continued.
We get Easter eggs
afterwards.
aplenty.
Yes, and then on the next page here, we're showing upcoming stories from DC's future.
Crazy, right? They're like, they heard he's been just writing down random things. Carter Hall.
Yes.
Because he saw all the things in the Dark Multiverse and all the things of possibility that he's now almost been traumatized by everything that he's seen, and he's just been able to write and jot a couple notes down. Like Aquaman and Atlantis Risen.
Yeah, and then we've got Lantern Dark Stars.
Dark Stars was a former thing, wasn't it?
I think you're thinking of Dark Hawk. Like from Marvel.
Wasn't Donna Troy a Dark Star?
If
It was Donna Troy?
if it happened, it's lost to me right this minute. But,
Wait, what does Dark Pantheon mean to you? With
a
Wonder
dark
Woman.
pantheon of gods. So, like as we were mentioning before, we're gonna be introduced to gods that we didn't even know existed.
Yes.
So now we've got this dark pantheon of gods. So dark gods from the dark multiverse.
That'd be cool.
That is
We
pretty
get
cool.
the Flash War.
And we got Barry and Wally all up in each other's faces for who knows why.
Well, in Flash, the main thing is that Barry wants to be the main Flash, and he tells Wally that he can be the main Flash, but he still wants to do everything by himself. So right now, it seems to be the crux of their fight is who gets to be the main Flash.
The original, like what set Wally off recently was that Barry went and
try to get his powers back.
What was it? He told Iris. He told Iris about something that had just happened to Wally, but without Wally's permission.
But Iris also doesn't know that Wally's here still.
She doesn't know anything about him, and
that might be the start of the war.
Because if he touches, like if he speaks with her, he's gonna bring back all the memories.
Yeah.
From pre-Flashpoint.
So I think that maybe that's where they fight, and then you see that like you said,
We've got these. These
like a Mortis, like Imperius, right?
Well,
is that similar to these?
Dude?
Well, there's like 3.
There's 3 gigantic looking. They look like Marvel's Celestials, but this is DC, so we know that's not them. So the upcoming story is called No Justice, Justice League No Justice,
right.
And Brainiac comes to Earth to.
Oh, because there are threats bigger
he
than him.
whips out the Justice League real quick, and he's like, "You see, none of you guys are ready. If I whipped you out, then what is coming is going to destroy you guys." So what is coming is what is it? The embodiment of entropy, the
right.
embodiment of wonder, the embodiment of mystery
and wisdom. Yeah.
And I think that's what these guys are.
So it'd be like Marvel's Eternity and
kind of. Yeah.
I get that. So Bruce is like, hey, so I hope you guys all enjoy your meals, but we just broke open the source wall, so
yep, it's gonna get real.
The odds that Barbatos was our biggest threat, even though we all almost died, all of us. I'm looking at every one of you here. We all almost died. It's gonna get a lot worse, and we're gonna have to just hunker down. We're gonna have to be ready for that, but we'll be ready for that tomorrow because we've done enough today. They want to celebrate. Bruce has some entertainment for them. And when you turn the page, you sit there and you got Damien.
You got Drunk Alfred on the drums.
Drunk Alfred on the drums with his tie on his head. You got Damien and John, the Super Sons, rocking out.
And we got Swamp Thing in a bow tie, which is one of my favorite things in the whole fuck.
The fact that he felt like he had to show up and wear a bow tie is amazing.
He was not used in this story other than as a pawn. So the fact that he showed up to this party at all.
I'm guessing the backwards hat is to designate Roy Harper.
That is Roy.
You see the fair play jacket because he can't be bothered to wear a suit either. I don't see.
You got Dr. Fate who's still wearing his helmet. You got Detective Chimp looking all nice and smooth.
Batgirl and Dick over there in the corner talking.
Dick in the corner. She's probably asking him.
Let me see your Robin.
Let me see your Robin.
But where's Zatanna, Bruce? I know you guys are friends. I read your books.
Could they?
Where's Zatanna?
In this new continuity, have they had sex? Like, has that happened?
Bruce, Barbara and Dick.
No, Zatanna and Bruce. Like,
Is that a thing in any
is that
continuity?
is they always
I'm like, wait a minute.
they always like it's in the same like Batman Wonder Woman type thing where they
Okay.
never got together, but it's like but
Huh.
and they always allude to this history that I don't know where the fuck it came from.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, I think he's just attracted by the thing he doesn't understand, which is magic.
Anyway, what Bruce was willing to speak about all these things that might be coming. There were some things that he wasn't willing to speak about in front of the rest of the league.
Yes, and
Which
his
it
best
was-
friends Diana and Clark were like, you have to have more because we just know you.
Well, apparently they knew as well. Then they must have agreed not to mention that because she says, so you didn't mention anything about my visions?
Yeah.
Like, so he's like, don't worry about it, girl. I'm building a Hall of Justice.
We got plans, girl.
We got plans.
And that's basically what it is.
That is the end of Metal, but the beginning
of so much of the new Justice League team.
So many new things.
That will have Hawkman on it and Martian Manhunter. It's seemingly ripped straight from the animated series.
We have got, 3 new teams now operating out of the Hall of Justice. We've got the main Justice League team, which is actually the classic animated line.
Yeah.
It's got
ripped straight from there.
Superman, Martian Manhunter, Batman, Hawkman, Wonder Woman,
no
Green
Aquaman.
Lantern. Aquaman is gone, but in his place, Cyborg.
No, Cyborg's not on the team.
Cyborg's on the team. He's on
Is
the
he?
team. Yeah.
They put him on.
He's actually on the team, and he now leads his own team. Yeah, he's got a lead. He's got a group now because I don't know if you remember, but he's the leader of the Justice League right now. Cyborg is.
Well, I know he's.
So
is he still Cyborg Prime? Cyborg in his prime.
That seemed like one of those things that was gonna happen in Metal, and then they were never gonna talk about it again.
Yeah, because he whacked it like I'm Cyborg 1,000,000.
He's
and
like,
then
I got Element. Well, he's always gonna have the Element X inside of him.
Yeah.
Because of the mother box.
That's what. Yeah. That's
right.
So then mother boxes are Element X.
Yeah. Now that I say it out loud,
we've just connected those dots, huh?
I didn't connect the two.
Yeah. Mother boxes are Element X.
That makes sense though because of the way they can do anything.
What were they calling it in the movie? Element something, right? Or
did they call it anything? Or they
we need to get the change engine. The change engine.
They treated it like a mom.
Yeah.
Like
mother, you smell of mother.
Me.
Smell of
That's
her.
a box, Steppenwolf. You're bugging.
Yeah, I mean, well, we has there been a mother box since in Rebirth?
Huh? Yeah. The last when did we see the mother boxes? No, that was the Dark Side War.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then we saw Cyborg. Mention them. He's talked about. What
I know that. Oh no, I know for a fact they exist. I'm saying we haven't gone to that well again because even Lex had it built into his suit.
There you go. That's where
he had it in his suit.
That's where we saw. We actually did see him with a mother box that says Lex instead of ping.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember him going back and forth to Apocalypse to be their god or whatever. He was like, I am your god now.
He ended up trying to trick Superman into taking his place, and then.
But it's so crazy because DC has been moving forward by going backwards. It's been moving forward by reinstilling things and foundations of stuff that we've known.
All the best comics usually do.
My jaw is dropped. I finished reading this issue and I look at the Marvel books. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Well, I want to say they're trying, and with what they're showing with this fresh start, and everyone's like, oh god, another reboot. But you didn't like what they were doing then, so just
we gotta wait till they get a flavor right that you like.
They're trying, and this fresh start. If we're gonna talk about Marvel, it seems like a step in the right direction, a step backwards, if you will.
Yeah.
Like, so I might give him a chance. I've got a couple books that I'm ready to pull that were announced from Marvel. I'm ready to pull the new Avengers title.
Yeah.
I'm ready to pull Sentry.
Oh, they're working on a Sentry solo book?
The Sentry solo book by Jeff Lemire. So
awesome.
I'm down for that.
Awesome. I read his the first six issue run they did shortly in the early 2000s of the Sentry.
Sentry?
Yeah.
Yes, where they stuck him in the Marvel's history.
Yeah, he's crazy and he had to make everyone forget that he even existed or else the Void comes out. Crazy stuff. How do you feel about Metal? How do you feel about the future of DC? Where do you think the Batman Who Laughs is?
Well, the Batman Who Laughs.
You think he's dead?
Is not dead. He's absolutely not dead. He's the only one of the Batman who's not dead, right? He's the only one.
Yeah, we actually saw them all die. Like we saw them die.
We saw them all die, but
stabbed and all
Laughs
kinds of stuff.
Is absolutely alive, and it was actually mentioned by, I want to say Snyder himself, that Laughs will be sticking around the DC universe after this. So look for him again somewhere.
I could see Joker not killing him in that instance because it would be such a joke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's got to be laughing at the fact that there's a universe somewhere where this happened.
Yeah, where they're merged and stuff.
But, Yeah, so Laughs is all right, but Metal, I really liked this story. Like I liked it better on the second read. I'm not
Me
gonna
too.
lie
Me
because
too.
of so many. There were a lot of delays, and there was like a huge 3 week gap between the Wild Hunt issue and issue 6. So I was like, I forgot what's going on. So I
And there
went.
was especially in the Forge and the casting. There's a lot of homework.
There's a lot of
There's
homework.
a lot of thick
I'd say do your homework
analysis.
because at the same time you're informing yourself
Yeah,
about
and
the important things in the DC universe that you're gonna need because they will be referenced again.
yeah, if you
This is
felt a little
comics.
lost, I recommend reading it again. You said you enjoyed it more on the second read,
It
and I
was
did.
so much better on the second read because now you actually know where you're going
That's where I was
and
able
you
to
see
find
how
out
they're
about
getting
like
there.
damage and all those people and the devil horns. These books, you got to understand how much care is put into a single issue, right?
Yes, especially
Everybody's on
when
board.
you've got when it's a big event book because this is what DC is going to put in the forefront. This is what they're going to advertise. This is what they're
Exactly.
going to put on the billboards. So
And these are characters borrowed from other titles, their own single titles, so they have to be done well. Their voices have to be right. The story has to be right.
But not to mention that, like, the entire point of Rebirth is to reintroduce classic elements of DC's continuity that were erased with Flashpoint. So, like, this was another opportunity to do that. Like, we got the reintroduction of like the anti-monitors, like tuning for like. So now we know that the crisis actually happened, and
Yeah.
like all this stuff that we were confused about. Like, did the crisis all happen? Did Bruce actually die? Like, did he still get lost in time? So we've got confirmation. Like, we got a bunch of stuff stuck right back into the DC universe where it belongs.
Do you
So
think Manhunter can take on? Do you think? Do you think we ever can have the John versus John fight?
John, no, bro, that's not that type of fight. Like, dude, no, God, no.
You think he can't take on Dr. Manhattan?
Absolutely not. Nobody can. It's not.
It's like, what are
gonna
you doing on
be-
Mars, bro?
Because
This is
like
my. This is my.
even Superman, like it's not gonna be a fight because like he could. It's super. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
You can be Superman. I don't know about Superman Prime. You can be. You can be any Superman you want. I'm just gonna snap you out of existence.
He has no end medal though.
Sure.
John. He has no pants to
I'm
put
sure
him
you
in.
could just like pee it out if you want.
He
Oh,
pees out Element
I
X.
shit
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. I believe it.
that. I got
But
that in my saliva.
but yeah, I really like this. Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo had fun. This is the kind of fun and confidence you have when you know these characters.
They mentioned that this would be a lot of fun, and I didn't know what they meant by that. But after I read it, I see now that Metal, while it was a story that you can follow along easily, it was a story. It was a way to tell you that there are no rules in comics. Like this weird anti-monitor and the Ultimate Thule. Me finding it and complaining about it. That's just my little nitpicking, but. Like things.
It was good.
It's
Yeah.
just wild, nuts, crazy things happen in comic books, and you should.
I really like how they swung for the metal fences, the literal metal fences. They laid out that this was metal, and people didn't really get it, right? Dark Knight's metal's coming out. What does that mean? And they went hardcore. It went hardcore with the violence. They went hardcore with the drawing. Greg Capullo went full spawn on Barbatos and all the Dark Knights. I was just impressed with their ability to go there because I always said that I felt that Doomsday Clock and Metal are mini commentaries on the DC universe in general. The Metal commentary being that what you see in these movies, that's not dark DC. We can show you want to see dark DC. You want to see the dark multiverse. You want to see how bad these things can get. Oh, we'll show you. And when you get there, and when you see us there, you will see us rise from there. And that's exactly what happens. They are able to rise from their dark multiverse. And then I feel like Doomsday Clock is that people see Watchmen and say like, oh, that's a real. I like that take on superheroes. But DC, the DC universe is so much more different than that.
Well, I wanted to
The
take
levels of hope
on
and
your
stuff.
on your idea that Metal is a commentary on DC Comics. Metal is more a commentary on comic books. Period.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
With the burning of Lucian's library and stories being destroyed. But as we see at the end of it, the stories are never destroyed. These stories are never actually destroyed. No matter what happens to continuity, no matter how many things get erased, no matter how many things get put back,
Or the artist you don't like,
No
or the
matter-
writer you don't like.
the stories will always exist. they're always going to be there, whether they're in your memory, whether you can reach up on your shelf and grab them and
I
read
mean,
them. They
we live
might
in a
not
world.
exist in continuity, but they
Yeah.
do exist.
We live in a world where Logan's back, where Barry's back, where Hal's back, where if you have a favorite comic book character, you can follow them through their books. It's not always going to be the brightest, but it's definitely not going to be plunged into to darkness. Not all the roads in DC lead to dark, and I thought this was a very, very good example of that. I applaud DC. I applaud Greg Capullo. Scott Snyder recently can't do no wrong in my eyes. So I'm with it. I'm with all of it. I'm with but one of us is gonna have to pick up one of those new Age of Heroes books.
I will definitely give them all a shot. Like I'm
That's
known.
good.
I'm
Have you
known
been
to at
reading them
least.
in the back to these issues? Because they've
No,
been there.
I have
You've been.
I always ignore. I always ignore the previews because like once I'm done with the story, I'm like I don't want to start some.
Did you try to sneak
some
a
did you just
episode in
try to
here?
force this on me? No, but that comes with any preview. Like usually a comic will stick up if they do stick previews after the story. Like once the story's done, I am done. Also,
Yes.
it's hard for me to jump into the next story because I'm done right now. I'm gonna go take a smoke and I'll be right back.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Well, that's how it is. When you're done, and we're done. We're done recapping and reviewing Dark Knight's Metal, and hopefully you guys had fun recapping it with us. You will absolutely love this book. I say pick it up. You're probably gonna have to do some homework on it, but I think at the end of the day, it's definitely worth the read. And that's Dark Knight's Metal, but you're gonna have to get all of it. There are definitely some tie-ins. You can find all of that.
There's a checklist
on DC's. Yeah, there's a checklist.
But the checklist that is in issue 1 is outdated because during the course of the story they had to change the format, so they added in Hawkman Found
Yes.
and the Wild Hunt.
Yes. Are you gonna be collecting this? Collected?
Yeah, I'm gonna buy the
trade paperback?
I'm gonna buy the trades. I did collect all the issues, but I don't lend out my floppies.
Yeah.
So I'll buy the trade because I do want to recommend this story to other people. It's
Awesome.
a great story. It's a great Batman story, but it's also a great DC Universe story. It's a crisis book. Don't let the title meddle. It's a crisis book. This is another crisis.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you like multiversal nonsense, this is it. This is it right here.
You got any last words about Dark Knight Metal?
I not about metal per se, but about the future of DC that has come from metal.
Uh-huh.
I'm hopeful for it. I'm really excited for what's to come. I'm excited for these new league teams. I'm excited for the new incarnation of the Titans.
Brainiac.
I'm excited to see Brainiac come ask the league for help.
How have you been liking the Sins of Our Father book? Is that what it's called? With Stroke and Bats?
Oh, the first issue of Deathstroke versus Batman.
How you liking that?
It's much better if you were already reading Deathstroke. So when
It does a lot of the Defiant stuff?
Well, it's issue 31 of Deathstroke.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it's you can read it on its own. That's why like the cover you see like they didn't put it prominent that this is issue 31 of Deathstroke. They want you to think like this is part 1 of a story.
Right.
So you are able to read this on its own, but like in the very first page you see like a flashback of Deathstroke's I don't want to call him
Screw-and-Tally?
butler.
Oh, Greenfield or something like that?
Yeah.
Wintergreen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Wintergreen.
Wintergreen.
In the past,
Greenfield.
if you don't know who Wintergreen is, all you're gonna notice is that there's young Alfred at the bar. But the what you're supposed to be taking in is that Alfred and this man both know each other they go to a bar and they discuss how both of their clients do what they do and
in
how
secret?
we need to,
That's pretty cool. I like that. I think I'm gonna check that out. I'm actually also I've really been wanting to check out White Knight.
White Knight.
White
I'm
Knight's
waiting
on
for that to finish because Sean okay. Well,
it's on issue 7 now, so it's 7 of 8.
Now that you mentioned White Knight, let me say something to really get like Family Guy terminology grinding my gears. Okay. Sean Murphy, the writer and artist of White Knight.
Okay.
He's a frequent collaborator with Scott Snyder. He wrote Punk Rock Jesus. I love that story. I'm not even religious. He comes on during his story White Knight. There's a bit of a continuity error where he has it that Jason Todd was the first Robin and then Dick was the replacement. And so this could have just been because it's another Earth, right? Whatever. Yeah. It's another Earth. It's its own continuity. The guy gets on Twitter and he says that he made this mistake because he's not a frequent reader of comic books.
That's not Acceptable.
That's what I said.
No, that's not acceptable.
I'm saying, okay, I understand. Okay, I get it. Okay, maybe not everybody that works in the comic book industry reads comics. I get it. Like people that work in the TV industry don't watch TV.
It's
but
so weird.
why would you come out and say that publicly?
It's
I
also
didn't need to know that.
Comic books is one of the most faithful audiences. Has one of the most faithful audiences in the world, and the more energy that you give to it, the more energy you get back. If you're writing a story in comic books, it behooves you to do your homework because you could end up writing the greatest story of all time if you have all the knowledge that you need. But to say that, oh wait, Dick Grayson was the first Robin, that's big. Like to not know. Be
that
like, oh,
that is a pretty common thing to know. Like to not know that's an issue. Well, well, that's what we have editors for. So I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what did you come out and say that publicly for? Because now I look at your stuff weird.
Yeah.
Now that's what it is. Like that's just the way it is now. And I'm sure that there are other people like that don't have such a clear head, and they're like, man, I hate Sean Murphy now. I'm not buying any of his crap. He doesn't read comics. Blah blah blah. Well, and you should have expected that type of reaction when you come out and publicly announce, I work as a very famous comic artist, but I'm not a huge fan of comic books. Like,
yeah, that's not.
I'm almost insulted.
That doesn't work, and especially when you're dealing with the 75-year-old characters.
They gave you a Batman story to write on your own, dog.
Yeah, like if you were doing Starros, like Origins or Starro Origins,
one of those 2-page secret origins
they should put them on.
Used to do back in the day. That's different.
They should have put them on Brimstone. Well,
that definitely bothered me, and I had to mention that. Now that you mentioned, Now that you mentioned the White Knight,
they're killing it with their Elseworld stories, though. They're killing it with their side stories.
They're actually introducing a couple new imprints. 3, the DC Black for adults.
I heard about this Black
DC,
label.
Zoom for teens, and then the is it Zoom for kids, and then there's one for teens. But there's 3.
That's
one
awesome.
For kids, teens, and adults. And someone asked me, why do they need imprints when they already make books? But these books are all ages books, and it's a mixed mash of.
And you can tell when they have to pull punches.
Now we're talking about straight up adult stuff. Like they gave Frank Miller like a Superman book.
I mean, if it's anything close to that Max series that they did for Marvel, that was adult.
That was good. No, like it's like making a book R-rated is not what's going to determine whether it's good or not.
No, it's not.
But going into a book and knowing that you're reading it because it's R-rated might change the way they tell their story. And then,
exactly.
So
I remember reading an issue of Jessica Jones, and that's basically R-rated. They had this girl that they had hopped up on mutant growth hormone,
MGH,
and they were cutting off parts of her back to smoke to get high. I was like, what am I reading? This is the craziest. But it's R-rated. It's Jessica Jones. It's R-rated. So I'm all for this. I mean, a metal imprint, a black label imprint sounds amazing. It sounds adult. It sounds metal. It does. It sounds metal. Black label. Batman. I'm with it. Let's go. I'm amped. I am amped, and I hope you guys are too. This has been my name is George Serrano, a.k.a. The Don. This has been the Dark Knights Metal recap and review. I had a blast.
George. It's Jonathan here. I'm signing out, and I'm going to see you guys next week when we discuss Doomsday Clock.
Yes, I want you here. I want to be here. I want to sit here and discuss Doomsday Clock. We got to finish that as well. But remember, all of you out there, to go ahead and subscribe to this podcast. Go to podbean.com or wherever podcasts are found. We're on Stitcher. We're on Google Play. We are on Apple Music. So you can do that. You can go to facebook.com/ComicBook Clique, Instagram @ComicBook Clique, or use the hashtag ComicBook Clique to talk all about the latest and greatest things to come to comic books and comic book media. And guess what? We're finally on Twitter @MajorIssuesCBC. We are on there, and episodes will be posted there, also with news and topics and some of the things we'll be discussing on here. So we are everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Find us, Major Issues Comic Book Clique. My name is George Serrano, aka The Don. I'm here with Yogi. Hopefully he'll be here next week. And remember that you, yes, you are worthy.